This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Blak Magus, and if you notice, I've been doing a lot of content this week, which, surprise for me, I've been absent from being consistent with content. I know. And I'll probably explain that soon in another video. But for now, just want to do a little bit of catching up, maybe, I guess I should say. So, one of the things that I missed, it's actually several things that I missed, but I'm not going to go that far back. It's been a lot in gaming that I've missed. A lot of different showcases that have come. I haven't really been following Jeff Keighley's summer showcase, for instance, although I've heard of and seen some cool stuff from there. Didn't really well, I did watch the Ubisoft one, which I guess I will say briefly. You know, I'm gonna get Assassin's Creed because I'm an Assassin's Creed fanatic. It looks interesting. A lot of people are saying it's like Odyssey. I kind of don't see how. I feel like maybe it's the Odyssey gameplay style, but a better version, if that makes sense. I think the options that you have with the Nordic theme kind of improves it a bit, to me at least. But that's just visually. I don't know. I have, having not touched it, I can't say. I can only go from my experience with Odyssey. The Watch Dogs game, I'm not 100% sold, but I'm also still intrigued to see what it is. I don't think they showed enough to get me excited. And of course, like some of y'all, I was wondering where some things were, in particular, Beyond Good and Evil 2. And of course, I was kind of a little perturbed at how they keep announcing some games. I forget the games that they announced that were new, but it's like they have fucking 1,1100 goddamn titles floating around, and they keep introducing shit. Come on, y'all. Calm down. I think that was my response to the whole was it hyperspace or whatever the battle royal game that they came out with. I said that the week it came out, and then when they re-showed the trailer for it during this whole thing, well, they showed a more extended trailer during the whole thing. I was like, yo, y'all got games out there, the pirate game, that, all this shit that y'all have announced over the last 3 years that you still haven't said anything about. What is going on? But anyway, I wanted to talk about the Microsoft conference because it's the most fresh. It was about a week ago that this happened, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the internet about it, and that's why I wanted to still talk about it, because it has, I guess that's the thing. When it's the console manufacturers, people get extra with it, and people have been really extra with the Microsoft thing, going back and forth on both sides between what they consider the two main rivals, Sony PlayStation and Microsoft Xbox. And so I kind of wanted to talk about the conference because, people, y'all be tripping sometimes, and I'll get into that part later. Okay, so they showed Halo Infinite, the gameplay demo for it. And hold on 1 second, Alexa, stop timer. I just realized that I had my Alexa set to do something, so we're gonna pause this for a second, which is gonna be weird. And we're back. Okay, so that was the most totally unprofessional shit in the world, but hey, sometimes it happens. Anyway, we were talking about the Halo Infinite thing, and apologies that I had my goddamn Echo device set for something, but it's okay. It's been a while since I recorded, so we gonna do this. We're gonna continue to flow. Anyway, So, yeah, the Halo Infinite demo. It's the thing that people have been really hounding on. I didn't pay too much attention to the fidelity of the graphics, partially because I remember going back to the Sony press conference. They didn't have the best video quality, and they came out and publicly said, "Hey, you know, since this was all done from home, we weren't able to like kind of put together the best presentation that we could." Microsoft has come out and said, "Hey, we didn't have enough time to grab the best footage because we've been working on this from home to represent, and we kind of were pressed for time, and we wanted to put this out," which I totally understand. I like 100%. I understand where they're coming from. It looks like a Halo game. It actually, I think I agree with a lot of people. It looks more Bungie like Halo than anything. Now, I heard some people try to say that it was kind of like Destiny 3. Oh, okay, well, I find that a weird thing considering that Bungie did Halo originally. And if you really think about it, Destiny shadows Halo, in particular in gunplay, especially more than anything. So to come back and try to say, "Oh, now this is Destiny," is kind of weird to me. Like, let's be honest. But hey, it is what it is. People are going to say what they want to say to kind of knock their rivals in their console war state. But it's a Halo game. I can't say much because, one, I've never been a big Halo fan, and that being said, it didn't like stand out as something huge to me. But it's good to see that that's going to be one of the things that people who buy the Xbox X Series get at launch. Of course, you can still get it if you still have it Xbox One, which is kind of a recurring theme right now, which I will comment on as I go along. State of Decay 3. Okay, I don't really have much to say. State of Decay, although I guess it's cool that they're going to add the animal element to it. Forza looks good, but it always looks good. Racing games are the easiest thing to make, represent the power of your consoles as far as like visually. Everwild, which looks good from Rare. I thought that was very, very interesting. Tell Me Why. It looks like an episodic adventure game. Curious to hear more about the story. Didn't really get a lot from there, but games like that are cool. Like, they're not as frequent as they were back when Telltale was doing them, like at a ridiculous level. So, it's probably going to be more interesting to me than before. They talked about Ori and the Will of the Wisp getting an Xbox Series X version that's going to run as high as 120 frames per second. Okay. I mean, as an indie game, it probably can push it a little bit more because, while as beautiful as that game is, there's not a lot going under the hood to stress the system. So, Outer Wilds is getting some new DLC, Peril on Gorgon. I'm assuming that's for all platforms since Outer Wilds is on all platforms. They didn't necessarily specify that. Grounded, which has come out at the time of this recording in early access, which looks very, very interesting. It's on PC. It's on Xbox Game Pass, Steam. And it looks cool. From what I've seen in the gameplay, it looks cool. Avowed, which is going to be, I believe, it's a new Obsidian game. Look pretty cool. It's a new RPG from them. People like Obsidian RPG, so I believe it's in first person, so I'm not gonna be big on it. I'm not a first person RPG person. It's probably why I'm one of the few people, I'm sorry, that is not super high on Cyberpunk, even though I like the concept and I like the look of the world. I like third person. I'm sorry for my RPGs. As Dusk Falls, I don't remember too much about that one. Psychonauts 2 got a little clip with Jack Black doing his singing. Talking about Destiny 2. The Destiny 2 thing weirded me out because they were like, oh yeah, if you already owned it, then you can get like all the DLC that you bought up to a certain point, I believe up until the last one, for free, and you also can carry over the last one if you buy it before the system come out. And they're like, didn't they already say this shit during like a Sony thing or during some other? No, they did it during their own conference where Bungie was like, yeah, if you have it on PC, Xbox, if you have it on Xbox One Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, you've had it on previous, goddamn fucking stuff. You had it on previous consoles. You get it on the newer consoles for free. You don't have to worry about rebuying DLC and all that shit, and all your stuff transfers over. So it was like, okay, kind of redundant. Stalker 2 was announced. Warhammer Dark Tide, Tetris Effect connected. They're adding a multiplayer element to Tetris Effect, and it's now going to be on the Xbox Series and Xbox consoles. It was PlayStation and PC only before, so now they get it. That was kind of a weird one too, because they were like, oh yeah, it exclusively launches first on Xbox, and then the news came out, like, which kind of was crazy, is that if you own Tetris Effects on PlayStation, you basically get the connected content for free. So basically connected is more like DLC, but if you're an Xbox owner, you're buying like the main game and DLC together. Whereas if you already own it on PlayStation, or if you buy it now on PlayStation, you will get the connected content for free as an upgrade. So that was kind of a weird thing right there that came out. Gunk, that looked pretty interesting. Then you had The Medium, which looks like an interesting horror game. I don't do horror games, but it still looked good. New content for Phantasy Star Online, Crossfire X, and then at the end, they announced that yes, they're making a new Fable game, which I'm sure is exciting a lot of people. I know a lot of people who've been pining for Fable. Now, the overall impressions of this thing is that it was cool, but this is the thing that I was referring to about like how I wanted to talk about with the whole PC thing, in particular with the Game Pass thing, because they pushed the fact that Game Pass, a lot of these games are going to be available for free when they launch on Game Pass. I feel like this conference was more of a selling point for the Game Pass, which is not a bad thing, but it didn't really push the agenda to me as far as like why I need to get an Xbox Series X, especially when you compound the fact that a lot of these games within the next 2 years that are supposed to come out, a lot of these games are basically touted to come out next year or maybe later this year. They'll be playable on the Xbox One family of consoles. Now, Microsoft has stopped production on most of them, with the exception of the Xbox One S. But yeah, if you already own an Xbox One X or the original Xbox, and you're not totally like into the whole I need the best graphics, I need to get the highest fidelity, I need the newest shit, I just want to play games, you're fine like not buying that hardware. Furthermore, Xbox Game Pass, which is a great value, it's interesting that having it on PC as well, if you don't own an Xbox, you get to play everything that's exclusive to them, or that's at least a launch exclusive, because a lot of these games that I named were just launch exclusive at the back end of the conference. If it wasn't published by Microsoft, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're not. And even some of it, like the DLC for Outer Wilds, is going to end up showing up on other platforms. But you know, just get that Game Pass. It's, you know, the same price. You can get it for $5 a month, or if you get the Ultimate, you cover everything, including console. If you ever do decide to get the console, for the next tier price, I think it's either $10 or $15 a month. I forget exactly what. But you get pretty much the same benefits and get the games at launch and stuff like that. You don't have to buy new hardware. And a lot of us now kind of do have gaming PCs. Like, a lot of people have built gaming PCs just to have it as a secondary to their console experience. So I don't know what this did for the actual console, especially, again, a lot of these things are still going to show up on the older consoles for the next 2 years. So launching a console this year when most of the games that you're going to come out with, well, pretty much every game that you're going to come out with, are going to be playable on the older platform still. Not sure what the sales are going to be. But then I've been saying for a while that I don't think Microsoft really gives a fuck, because I don't think Microsoft's that invested in the console market as much anymore as they are in being more of a service now. So, you know, either they sell some consoles or they just sell Xbox Game Pass alone. But they're going to sell Xbox Game Pass, because even if you do get the console, it's going to look to a lot of people, especially to casual gamers, as the better get, because it's like, okay, well, I can get this. I pay the $120 a year. That's the cost of 2 games. Plus, I get, you know, if you get the Ultimate Pass, I'm talking. Plus, I get like a bunch of other shit free. All their games come out and launch. So once 2 of the Xbox exclusives come out, I've covered that price. And I get gold, and shit like that. So it becomes an enormous value for someone who's not hardcore into gaming, and they're fine with just playing with what they give you. And if you're a huge, just like Xbox exclusive only person, then it settles fine for you if you're not playing a lot of third-party games, because there's not going to be a whole lot of third-party games. There's going to be some, but you're not going to get like 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get a lot of Call of Duties. You might now and then, but the Call of Duty, the things that people tend to buy annually or on the regular, the series that are like the most popular, they're not going to necessarily all show up on the Ultimate Game Pass. So you're still going to be buying games if you're a hardcore person. But if you're just somebody who is casual, you'll get enough out of there without having to buy games, you know? Even then, casual will still be buying a couple of games, probably, like the Maddens and the Call of Duties and things like that. So, I mean, it to me was more of a showcase for the past. Now, all y'all going off and talking about what the fuck is Xbox doing? Like, again, I still stress and maintain that I don't think that they're necessarily trying to push the console agenda as much as they're trying to push the service agenda. They've added xCloud to this Ultimate Game Pass thing, so you can play these games anywhere. Again, they stopped manufacturing the better of this current generation's console. Like, that was a shock when I heard the Xbox One X wasn't going to be made anymore, but they're just going to do the S, which is kind of their like mid-tier. Beyond the ones, and they're not doing the regular one or the digital version, or is it they're just doing the digital version? I forget which one of the S they're doing, but yeah, they're eliminating 3 things that they've manufactured on the old school generation, which they said they're planning on supporting for at least 2 years, with all their exclusives. they've pretty much set themselves up to where if you don't buy the Xbox Series X, they don't give a fuck because they're banking on you buying into the Game Pass. Like shit. Again, Grounded just came out, and I've really been considering just trying out for $1 since it's $1 for the first month. The Xbox Game Pass on PC. You know what I mean? So like they've made an attractive enough system to where they can still make money and like keep a substantial financial base in the gaming industry. And again, all this stuff comes out on PC anyway, so even if I don't want to get Game Pass, I can purchase stuff through the Microsoft Windows Store, get their exclusives, still play, you know. So they're set themselves in a position where their consoles, it doesn't really matter what the console does at this point. And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand is that console, you know, is kind of become like the bonus, the icing on the cake if it sells well. And it's going to sell well enough because there's enough people who are fans of the console that will buy it. And for those who don't really care as much and just want to play certain games, they'll invest in other areas for Microsoft. So, you know, and you know the graphics thing, people were going off of that, but they're talking about like, oh, Microsoft, what the fuck are they doing? They're doing like, I guess what people just don't want to seem to admit or understand is that they're not concerned about your console wars like that. I don't think. I feel like I understand because the marketing makes it sound like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Why? Because even I would say this. Why the fuck are you putting this out if you're saying things? Or why the fuck are you making exclusives even if you're saying things like exclusives are toxic to the gaming landscape? Or like it doesn't like, you know, matter where you play with the xCloud stuff and all that. So I get why people are upset, but at the same time I also get what they're doing, you know. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, just want to catch up on that, talk about that. Sorry for the pause in the middle. Anyway, as always, you guys feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. It's your boy Blak, Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.